Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to HCC Live. This is our fourth session
number
of
4.
these. We've had a lot of entertainment here the last couple of weeks. Been a lot of fun so
It
far.
has been fun. It's going to be fun tonight with RJ.
Yes, it is. And tonight we're going to cover classroom technologies, but we also can, answer any questions that students may have. But let's just do some introductions here. I'm Kevin Crawford. I'm the Director of Admissions and Enrollment Management here at Hagerstown Community College.
I'm RJ Lushbaugh, and I work in advising and registration as the lab specialist.
And I'm Mike Martin, and Director of Advising and Registration. Before we get started here this evening, a couple quick announcements before we get to our hot topic tonight, which is technologies and logins and getting ready for class that starts on Tuesday. We start our summer classes Tuesday, May 26th for most of our classes in the summer, and we're here tonight to try to help you navigate some of the things that show up right before classes start.
Right.
But again, some announcements. This is Mental Health Awareness Month. Here at the college, a lot of staff have been promoting that by wearing the color green. We're fortunate that HCC is green, so it's easy for us to promote it. We're fortunate to have some gear on from the campus store.
Yes, we are.
Yes. Very lucky.
Thank you, Tammy Crockett.
Tammy Crockett supplied us with some new gear. We'll talk a little bit about the campus store a little bit later, but again, with mental health awareness, we do take that seriously. We do take good care of our students here. Just a couple shout outs with this to our BIT team. Our BIT team does a tremendous job working with students that have needs, any kind of needs, from students navigating problems to, unfortunately, students that may be homeless that need help with food or other things like that. So we have a student assistance form that's online that students can go to on our website. It's located throughout the website, but there are places that students can get to the what's called a student assistance form if they do need assistance. And we do know that this is some troubling times right now, so we're here to help. We also have the ability for teleconferencing, or telecounseling for students that need that as well. So HCC is here. Even though we're remote, we can still provide that help to students, so I wanted to throw that out. And one thing before you get started tonight, I have one other thing I want to bring up. Learned something else about you this week. I was surfing social media, and this is obviously seniors are getting ready to graduate this year, and this is usually a time of year for superlatives, senior superlatives.
Okay.
And I happened to stumble upon Smithsburg's 1994 yearbook that had senior superlatives in there.
All right.
And RJ, Kev had 3 of them. Give me one guess on what you think Kevin might have been from a superlative.
No idea. Tell me.
I found one okay. The other one I was kind of surprised about. Kevin was in high school a senior superlative, most lovable, friendliest, which I could see that one, and most huggable. And I don't understand that one because every time I try to give Kevin a hug, he curls up in a ball. So
consider the
there.
source
There you go. So Kevin Crawford, 3 senior superlatives. So if you're a senior out there,
Doesn't do much on a resume. You can't add those. But I'm glad my resume led me here to HCC. But
okay, you want to get us started
thanks
tonight?
for digging that up, Mike. Yeah. So we're going to talk about classroom technologies tonight. And this is really key for any student. Whether you're doing online learning or whether you're just on a campus taking face-to-face classes. We're hoping to get to that point in the fall semester, but we're still not sure yet. But our summer semester is going to be online for us. So those technologies are extremely important, and we're gifted here at the college that we're strong in those areas. Some students are going through their senior year right now, and they're finishing up online. They're like, well, I don't like this. I'm taking an English class, and I don't have the support or the person I can go to like I did in a high school setting. On a college setting, there's built-in instruction and help. And we're blessed to have that. We're blessed to be able to say on one day, hey, we're going to go remotely the next day, and it works out very well because we're set up that way.
Yeah, we did a great job. And I just learned this week, too, that with some of our science classes, because students may wonder how, with being remote in the summer, how in the heck do you do lab sciences and so forth? Well, our science department has actually gotten some special software. They went out and bought some special software that allows remote labs to happen and equipment and things like that to make learning, you know, as realistic and you know, as you can expect for a summer online class.
Right. So just understand that if you know you're a student who's finishing high school and you don't like the learning environment, it's a totally different environment you're going to see in college because there's built-in support everywhere. And our faculty would say that, our staff would say that. You're going to find extra help. So please keep that in mind. So the last couple of weeks we talked about applying to the college, going through all the steps. We've talked about financial aid. We've talked about advising whether you're looking to take classes again to a career, take classes to transfer out, or you're transferring in to take classes with us. And it all starts with you receiving that acceptance letter. That's what we talked about in week 1. So students who are going to be here for the summer semester or fall semester, when you applied to the college, you received an acceptance letter. And that acceptance letter told you what your next steps are. It had your student ID on there, and it had your login information. If you're going to start classes with us here for the summer and you do not have that, send an email to the admissions office. It's admissions@hagerstowncc.edu, and we can get you another acceptance letter before classes start. But when you get that acceptance letter, it's going to tell you to change your temporary password. And once you do that, you then have access to things in our system, and it activates things for you to start going through. So the first thing is like our Active Directories. RJ, do you want to touch on a little bit what the Active Directory, what that means?
Yeah, so like you said, it'll be your login. What you'll be able to log in with your Active Directory is going to be your student email, your self-service account, your D2L, which is going to be your learning management system where you'll be doing your online classes, or at least some of them. Whenever we're back to campus, it'll help you log into computers when you're on campus. And like you said, it'll be on your acceptance letter. You can contact admissions or IT if you're having trouble locating your username and password.
We can't emphasize enough. College will communicate with you through your college email, and we're seeing a lot of that right now. We're running this grad gift program, and students are reaching out. Hey, you haven't contacted me. Check your college email. There's going to be communication there. You want to check the status of financial aid, check your college email. Faculty are going to communicate with you through college email. So even though I may be in an environment as an 18-year-old where I don't use email, I like to text or get on Instagram, you're going to be getting into settings now where email is extremely important. So definitely get that email set up.
You know, to go back to, we try to do our best in responding to personal emails. If we're not giving out any specific information or information that you can just find on the website, you know, certainly we can respond to that. But we really, really want to emphasize that students should be using their student emails and their accounts with us. Again, as we get to the emails later, we'll talk more about it, but we don't know who's on the other end of the email. You know it's your email, but we don't know who's on the other end of that email, and we have to make sure we know that before we release any information to a student.
And you can sign up to have your password linked to all 3 things there. There's a password reset button and tool that we have as well. So when you do that, as always, you're going to have to change your password, you know, at certain times throughout your time here at the college. RJ, why don't you share how often that's going to be?
Yeah, as a student here at HCC, you'll only have to change your Active Directory password once a year. And you'll also know when your year is coming up. You'll start getting emails sent to that student email about 2 weeks before it's time to change. And you'll get an email every day letting you know where you can go to update that password. And
our IT help desk is super helpful. So if you need to contact them, you can email hccit@hagerstowncc.edu. You can send a text message to 240-329-4489, or you can call 240-500-2891. And that's all on our website. If you go and search the site, IT help desk, that information will appear. And as always, if you're leaving a message for any office on this campus, speak slowly, speak clearly, leave a contact phone number, maybe repeat it again, just so that we have that so that we can get back to you. I can tell you that one of the worst feelings for me in the admissions office is responding to a phone message and I can't make out the last 2 digits on the number, or I can't make out a student name, and sometimes you can't get them a call back if you can't look them up in the system, and it makes you feel like, oh, I'm letting the student down. So if you can speak slowly and repeat yourself, that's going to help our IT help desk very, very much.
And Kev, real quick here, before when you're talking about students resetting their passwords initially, that's critical. If you're a new student looking to come to HCC in the summer or the fall, before you really reach out to our advising department, we really appreciate when students go in and already have that password, the new password set, and they already can get logged into their accounts. And you'll find that you have to definitely be logged in to do anything really on campus.
And like I said, email's important, and we're definitely going to talk a little bit about that email part. But I think we got our first question of the evening.
RJ, Katie, one of our current students, wants to know if they have to change their passwords for summer or fall.
You shouldn't have to if you've set it within the past year. If you're not getting any emails sent to your student email account, you're good to keep that same password unless you would want to update it to something new.
And to find your email on our website, you go to the quick links in the upper left-hand corner, and there'll be a drop-down menu, and you'll be able to see student email there. It's pretty easy to access. And like I said, anytime you're working with someone on campus and your instructor, your professor may work through email, that's the definite method you want to do. And you can use your phone. You can get it on your phone as well. Pretty easy process to do.
Yeah. So the first thing to kind of hit on for, if you want to on your phone for convenience, go to the App Store and download the Outlook app. You'll be able to log in with that with your Active Directory information. The one thing that I do want to note that will change on your Active Directory for your email only is you have to add @student.hagerstowncc.edu for your username in order to log in to your student email. And again, that will only be for your student email that you have to add that.
And there's just a couple other things with student email. The one thing that I think happens too, Microsoft Outlook is what we use. It's wonderful. It's a good product. I know I've had a couple students tell me that when they get into their email, that there can be a focused tab for emails and an other tab. And I've had a number of times where we've sent emails to students and they've never said that they've received them. And in that tab, you get, the email might not be under the focused group that you can see initially, but if you click on the tab that says other, it kind of filters through your emails a little bit. And there's a way that you can actually go in to your settings and just create one big inbox that has both focused and other, and they're all kind of coming into the same one. But if you do get in there the first time, just make note that you might see something that says focused and other. I know we got another question, but I want to bring up something else. When students are in their email, all students on campus do have the ability to download the Microsoft Office products. And not a lot of students know that. So certainly you don't want to go out and buy those products when you can go into your email under the settings, and you'll have the ability to download Microsoft Word, Microsoft Access, Excel, PowerPoint, the OneNote, all that stuff that comes with it, because they're all products that you'll use as a student, and you have the ability to, I think, put that on 5 different devices.
Yep, that's
so
a good point.
Another question coming in.
Question from Instagram. What is the app called?
The app for, I'm assuming for the email, it's Microsoft Outlook. Microsoft Outlook app, and
it usually has a blue background with a white O, or a white background with a blue O is going to be the icon you're looking for on the App Store.
And then one of the new things that we have here at the college, and you'll hear a lot about, self-service. And self-service, Mike, I know I've heard you talk about self-service now, it seems like for the last couple years. And self-service is now rolled out, and we're using it. And we're super excited about it. It makes things super easy for a student to do. So talk a little bit about self-service.
Yeah, self-service is our new platform that we're using. It's replacing WebAdvisor. WebAdvisor is going away if we have any returning students. Certainly you still have the ability to use WebAdvisor, but self-service is kind of the car with all the bells and whistles.
Right,
It's
so if
got
you're a new student,
Yes.
we want you using self-service.
Yes,
if you're a
completely.
continuing student, start utilizing self-service, because that's going to be the method that we're going to be using for a period
And other
of time.
colleges, if they go somewhere else, self-service type software is going to be used when they go on and so forth. So it's a wonderful software to use. It's where you're going to find your class schedule. You can certainly register for classes there. If you need to add drop, you can certainly do that later on. Payment plan information, financial aid information, it's all on self-service. It's kind of the one place where your academic records sit. Everything that you need to know, everything that you need when you're a student on campus. Like I said, financial aid, payment,
Unofficial transcripts.
Unofficial
where you can
transcripts are
request
there.
official transcripts.
Yep. And we don't mail out grades. with some of our younger students, sometimes they're waiting for grades to be sent home. That doesn't happen. You'll find those on self-service. So,
Yeah.
and the transcript part is really big because a lot of students are looking for those transcripts, and sometimes you just need that unofficial. You'll find it on self-service.
You know, and the other thing I wanted to mention too, since we're talking about this, and we always share examples of what we see. You know, we've been fortunate to talk this with students and with each other about this kind of stuff. The one big thing that speaking of grades and things like that, students will maybe use their D2L account to look for their grades, and that kind of gives them an idea throughout the semester. But just understand that your official grade for the class will be posted in self-service. So if you happen to see a grade that's in D2L as you go through your class and your final grade doesn't really match what's in D2L, that's when you'd want to ask a question. But I've had situations before where students don't go to self-service and they don't look up their grade to see what their final grade is, and they don't know what they got. They're thinking that their grade was what was the final grade was in D2L, but it turns out that, you know, the final grades are posted in self-service. So you definitely need to go in there. If that grade doesn't match what's in D2L, then you want to bring that up as a question to someone here on campus.
Right. Let's talk about new student orientation a little bit. The college has new student orientation. You know, every beginning of semesters we do have a face-to-face, which right now is no guarantee that's there. But we do have an online orientation as well. And we want every student to go through that online orientation. So a lot of students that I've worked with have said, you know, there's no parking permit for me to get right now. There's no decal I need to get for my car. So do I need to do the orientation to watch it? Yes, that orientation that we do online shows you and tells you everything you need to know about the college. I really could answer a lot of the questions that are really given to us every day in admissions by saying, hey, it's right there in orientation. Take some time to sit down and do that. Don't rush through it because it's going to be a benefit to you down the road. So orientation is a pretty important part for us.
And it also has a lot of resources that we have here on campus that you can educate yourself about going through that orientation as well. So that's definitely a benefit to it. And then once you would come back to campus, you'll be able to pick up your ID, pick up your parking pass from the student center. So there's nothing that you have to be worrying about when you do come back to campus.
You know, the other thing that RJ, you do a great job with our orientation. RJ, if we do have the orientation that's on campus, when we do have it, RJ is the one guy that we go to for the technology piece. I want to bring up something, but I know there's a question coming in about. I want to cover something, but we'll take the question first.
I'm going to read Katie's question. She says that she's having the most difficult time going from planning to actually registering. Apparently, maybe she registered for the same class multiple times. She's not sure.
Okay, that's Katie. I'll try to answer this as best I can. If I can't answer it fully, please leave your email for us, and we'll get back to you about your specific situation. And I don't want to speculate what the situation could be. There are a number of reasons that students can have trouble potentially registering for classes depending on how many times they try to sign up for it. At times, students might be referred to the academic department for approval to take a course if they've taken it multiple times. It certainly could be if there's holds on the account, if there's problems with registering. If you could, definitely send an email to advise@hagerstowncc.edu with your issue and your problem, and we'll be happy to look at that and try to help you out. Again, I don't know the specifics of your situation, and I can only speculate.
And another thing too is if you are signed up for multiple sections, the best way to check that is go to self-service on our website. There'll be a how to print your schedule. Follow the steps on that. If you see the same class multiple times saying registered but not started, you are in multiple sections and we do want to get you out of them so you're only in one.
Before that, you were given your one thing.
Oh,
You
yeah.
had a point you were going to bring up, so I'd know to remember that when you point your finger, you have something.
I always have one thing,
Right.
right? What I was going to say, the one thing I always like that you cover during the orientation is about our Illusion Go app. We talked about apps. We talked about the Microsoft app that students can get emails on. We do have a what's called an Illusion Go app. It's a wonderful app. It's like almost having self-service in your palm of your hand on your cell phone. And we know a lot of the younger students, cell phones with you all the time. It's kind of what students like to go to. So the Illusion app actually gives you everything right at your fingertips. to answer how you did earlier, it's a purple app with an E in it. You actually download that app for free. You will need to pick Hagerstown Community College once you download the app, but you can log in there with your Active Directory information, and you get everything that self-service gives you, and it's just in the palm of your hand. First, a lot of this technology too on our website, if you go to Current Students tab on the homepage, it will give you information logging into email and to self-service and to D2L and emergency alert, parking pad. It gives you all that kind of information right on the current student page. So if there's one place that you want to go and you're starting classes up on Tuesday of next week, I would encourage you to go to the current student tab, and all the information and links that are critical that we're talking about tonight can all be found there.
And when I'm in the scheduling lab too, that's always a tab that I always suggest students to get familiar with, because everything that you're going to need is going to be there for you.
Yeah.
And we can't right now force students to go on and do that online orientation, but when the day comes we're back on campus, which we're looking forward to, you have to have done that online orientation to get your parking permit, your student ID card, which is required for you to be a student here. So if you're a new student for summer, do the online orientation. If you're going to be taking fall classes, go ahead and do the orientation so that when we do open back up, when things are back and we're on campus again, you're ready to get those things.
And at the end of the orientation, you fill out something to say that you've completed, so we can verify it.
Name, ID number, and certify that you have went through all of it. Yes. With the new student orientation also, you just want to make sure that you're completing it, again, to get your ID. And why do you need to have your ID on campus? If you want to use our Learning Success Center where our tutors are, you're going to need it for that. When you're taking tests at our testing center, they're going to want you to have it for there. If you're going into our library, you're going to need it there. Any kind of offices, admissions, financial aid, advising, we're going to ask for that as well. So it is going to be an important thing to have on you on campus, as well as going to the ARC for working out as well too. They'll ask for that.
Talk about textbooks.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. Okay, so I always get students that say, do I need a textbook for my class? And I'm like, I can't imagine taking a class without a textbook.
Yeah.
You know, you said you thought I was an okay student. Well, without a textbook, I don't know what would have happened, but textbooks are very, very important, and we'll get into that. We have one more question. We have a question coming in, then we'll talk about textbooks a little bit.
Mike, do students who are taking classes online need student ID cards? And if so, how do they do that with campus schools?
Yeah, as Kevin just was talking about recently, or just a few moments ago, at this point, we can't give out parking passes or ID cards. If we were on campus, yes, it's critical that you have an ID card. In order to take tests on campus, you need the ID card. A lot of times to get into the advising office, like we're going to ask for ID, financial aid will ask for ID. Right now, we're in a position where we don't have the ability to give students IDs.
You need your ID number now.
You need your ID number. We'll get you everything that you need.
Yeah, when we come back to campus and there's something you're doing on campus, you need that card to show. If you come to the admissions office, I'm going to say, can I see your student ID? That's going to be vital. But yeah, right now, you just need to know the number.
Another question. We'll get to your textbook soon.
Will lab classes be held in person or online?
Lab classes are actually, all classes in the summer, every single class this summer will be taught remotely or some kind online. Now, that could look a little bit different for every class. Things could be traditionally online, where students would be not expected to be on at a certain time, to be logged on to what's called a synchronous classroom where you're learning at a certain time during the day. We could have classes that have times that are going to require you to get on and to like a Zoom classroom or some kind of formal like time classroom that's online that you can watch with other students. Our lab classes will have, while some of them could be done online, there could be a learning component with those classes where you'd be expected to get online and watch a lab being done. As we mentioned earlier, the science department had purchased some software that's going to allow them to do labs that way. But everything's going to be online. If you can be online at a certain time when you're supposed to be, that's required, recommended. I know that there will be situations where sometimes students might not be able to be on at that time, and work that out with your instructor, whether or not they're actually recording the lecture piece that they could watch at a later time.
I want to reiterate, online is a great way to do classes. Sometimes it gets a bad name. You know, there are not to pick on other schools, but there are some large universities that do things entirely online. And students who attend them sometimes say, I don't feel like I have someone to go to. Community colleges are set up for help. There's help there for you around every corner. So it's not going to be, hey, RJ, there's your class, go do it and see at the end of the semester. You'll have access to instructor at any time. You can reach out to them. You have access to our library. You have access to the Learning Support Center. There's help everywhere you go. And then with the technology piece, what's D2L? How do I do it? What if there was a time when you walked into a Sheetz of the world and went to order a sandwich on that screen and you were like, oh, I don't want to hurt something. And now you go in and you add mustard and take away relish and add pickles. And I'm just saying, you always think you're going to break something. And now you go in and you do it like it's nothing. So that's how it works. And students will say that. I was scared that I was going to erase something. Now I'm on D2L. I'm on email. I'm doing everything and it's pretty easy.
Well,
so you'll get better as you go
Here's
through.
Something else with the whole online thing. We've been teaching online classes for a while. I mean, this isn't
not new.
This isn't new to us. I mean, we have faculty that embrace online learning, and while it is new for some classes, we've done a great job with our online learning for years here on campus. So we got this down for students that
once again, the middle of March, hey, you're going to go online. We went online because we're set up that way. Our faculty are like, let's go, let's do it. We're ready to do that. So that's there. It's an opportunity for you, and don't be nervous about that. I took an online class, I remember, when I was in my 30s, and you guys may have as well for my master's, and I was scared to death, but then I saw it's not that bad. It's good. I like the interaction. I like the opportunity that I can at times do the work when I want to do the work. If you have a family at home and the kids go to bed at 9, maybe you do your work after that. So it gives you some flexibility.
You gonna get back to your textbooks?
Textbooks. Let's do it. Textbooks. Now, when we talk about textbooks, we also hear textbooks and access codes.
Yes.
So which one of you wants to talk about the difference between textbook and
I'll let RJ
access
start.
code? All right.
So depending on your class, you may have a book, you may have an access code, or you may have both. When you do have an access code, a lot of the times you're going to be on another learning management system besides just D2L, whether it's a My Math Lab, My Econ Lab. We'll be using different ones, and that access code allows you to get into that online classroom. You'll be getting instructions from your teacher sent to your student email on how to get into the website, enter their information so that you can get into their section of the class. Some students with the access code will get an online textbook, and that's just fine for them. Other students are a little bit more old school and want to have that physical textbook as well, and you can have both at the same time for that.
In our we call it a campus store. It's no longer a bookstore.
Not a bookstore.
We're blessed to be able to wear some
HCC
new
gear.
HCC gear tonight here.
It looks good on you,
gear
Mike.
like this can be purchased down in our campus store, along with other supplies. Notebooks. They got cards down there.
They have laptops, they have tablets, they have different electronics for speakers, headphones. You might not think that you need it, but as you're learning from home, having those headphones can help you kind of tune
You
out
might
the
want
noise.
Tampy to get like shopping carts, because you could go shopping down there
You could go
and walk
shopping.
out of there with some good stuff. So
Wait till the first person shows up with a shopping cart down there. Now. That'd be good. Got another question coming in.
Yeah, Mike, we have a question from a student who registered for classes before summer classes were determined to be remote. She wants to know if there is a possibility that they might be required to be online at a specific time, or is the online class different from the one that maybe she already signed up for?
Yes, as we were just talking about earlier, some classes may have that learning component where you do have to be logged on at a certain time. I would probably say, without looking at your specific schedule, we'd be happy to look at I'm not sure who the student is, but we'd be happy to look at that student's schedule. If they were to send us an email, again, email advise@hagerstowncc.edu. We'll be happy to take a look at your classes and tell you whether your class actually has a specific time that you need to be logged on.
And purchasing textbooks through our campus store is pretty easy. You can go onto our current students link and find campus store, and you can walk through and your class, PSY 101. You can find the
Just
class,
like buying
add
anything
it
online.
to your cart,
Yep.
boom.
So The one thing to be aware of though is for some of the books, when you put in your section or your course number, some will have instructors' names beside it. If you see that, make sure that you're buying your instructor's book so you don't buy the wrong one. If it says all beside the textbook, that means it's good for every single section that you would be in for that.
And students can use their financial aid to
Yes.
purchase textbooks.
And not
Yes.
only textbooks, but anything in the campus store. So if you need that laptop or that tablet to be successful, you can also use your financial aid if you have leftover on that as well.
Curbside pickup for textbooks?
Yeah.
How great
This
was
week is
that?
exciting.
How great was that?
Great.
So if you're picking up textbooks, we have the curbside pickup, which we did this week, and it went well.
A
And
lot of positive feedback.
that was great hearing Tammy and her staff say how great it was to see students and how appreciative they were to be able to get their textbooks that way. So that's awesome.
And there's signs all over the campus for which way to go. But when you do come to pick up your textbook, you're going to drive up the Kepler Drive. You'll keep driving past Lot M. You'll drive onto the quad, and you'll see the bookstore's tent on the left-hand side, where you'll be able to show them your ID, make sure you are wearing that face mask, and they'll be able to bring your books out for you.
I'm going to bring up something else, and not to change gears, but I think we all are on the same page with this. And the piece of advice that I'd like to really give all students out there, when you get your Active Directory username and password, and you set that, and it's your account. It's everything that's tied to you academically, your grades, your records, everything. I always would tell you as a student, don't give that to anybody. I've seen it too often where, a spouse may give it to another spouse, or a boyfriend might give it to a girlfriend, and really that's your decision, but I strongly encourage you not to do that. That's your account, only for you. It protects your records. While we can't control if a student gives username and password to a parent or to a family member, we highly recommend that you don't do that and keep that specifically for you. Because when we communicate, we're assuming that we're communicating with you directly through your email. We're assuming that's you on the other end of it. And it could turn out to be, somebody else. You give it to a family member who might give it to another family member, and suddenly it's not protected anymore.
Yeah.
And we try to protect. We do a great job protecting records.
And I think
here,
that's going to lead us into FERPA, which we'll talk
Yeah,
about
we'll
after
talk
we
about
take the
FERPA
question
shortly.
here.
Yes.
That's
Mike, we have a question about our dental programs. The person wants to know, how are clinics going to work during the crises and after the crises, and is there any possibility of our dental programs going entirely online?
I know that's been a challenge. We had, just this past spring, some of our students couldn't finish all the hours that they had to do. I know our health sciences department is working very hard to work with those students to get the hours that they need. I'm going to say, and I don't have any problem saying, I'm not sure how things are going to work. That's going to be up to the actual dental department, the health sciences division. So on our website, you can actually look up dental programs or dental assistant, dental hygiene, and it should provide contact information there for you to reach out to that particular office to find out how they're handling those things.
right. So let's talk a little bit about FERPA. All right. Now this is us protecting a student's record here, and every student who goes to any college should fill out the FERPA form, because you should be able to tell who you want to have access to your records.
Yeah, they don't have to fill it out.
They
want
don't.
to.
And I get this all the time. Even if you're in high school in the Essence program, you're protected here. I technically can't tell mom or dad information about you in specific areas. There's other things I can, and parents sometimes don't understand that, and I don't know why they don't. Do you want us just to give out something about a student to anyone who walks in and says, oh, I know Diane, can you tell me about? No, that's protected. So the student has to give permission to whomever they want to have access to the records, if they want someone to have access to the records. And if it changes, they got to fill out another form to say, hey, I don't want this person, but I do want this person to have access to my records.
Yeah, and that happens right now. And it's always great for parents to support their children in college. I think it's great when they come along. I think it's great that they're invested in their child's education, or as we said earlier, spouses that are supportive and things like that. But the thing is, I know it gets frustrating sometimes when a parent might call and say, I need information on my son or daughter, and we look up information in our records, and we find that we don't have a FERPA release form. That FERPA release form can be found on our website. I'm pretty sure Kendra Perry's out there and can post that right now. She's been doing a great job posting those things for us. So the FERPA form, if you're a student that's going to have someone that's going to want to be involved and ask questions, and again, we're cautious what we do release anyhow if people do reach out for information, but we do need that form on file before we'll talk to somebody. So,
and that happens, it's very important because sometimes we're in the mentality as a spouse or a parent that, well, I want to contact that faculty member to see how they're doing in class.
right.
Faculty member is going to say to you, I got to check to make sure your name's on file, and if it's not, I can't give you anything.
Right.
And it's really nice that we're the local community college, but if son or daughter is 6 hours away at school, you're going to get the same answer. Even if you're
Right.
calling to get something with financial aid, they're going to say, we got to talk to the student.
And FERPA, just so we know, we call it FERPA. We got our own little language here on campus, but FERPA, it stands for Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. And it's been around for a long time. A lot of people always, liken it to HIPAA.
Yes.
When a lot of people, this is FERPA.
But we're real strict with ours here
Yes.
because we follow it to a T, and we're not going to give out information if the student hasn't told us they can't. So we have another
Another
question.
question.
Mike, we have 3 questions from Instagram, all
Oh, wow.
about the campus store from different persons.
Oh, wow.
So this
Okay.
is exciting. The first question is, how can students see what books are needed for classes?
Okay. On our campus store website, you can go to our webpage, look up campus store. You'll see online bookstore. There's a tab that you can go there. It will ask you for what semester. You'll select summer. You usually then can pick the class, the section, and at that point, there's some arrows. I don't have it in front of me to click right now, but there's arrows that'll direct you to hit submit, and it should then bring up the actual course materials that you'll need for that class.
And I think I actually have that too. So you'll search the bookstore. Once you're on the online bookstore, you'll click the textbooks tab in the upper left-hand corner. From there, you're going to confirm the term, whether it's summer or fall, for what classes and books you're looking for. Confirm the department. So that's going to be the HCC for accounting, PSY for psychology. Then you'll pick your course number and section number. And that's when that teacher part might come into play. So make sure it doesn't have a teacher's name and it says all for that part. You'll then at that point, once you click that, it'll let you pick your next book. And then once you have all of your books picked out, you'll click view your materials, you'll add them to your cart, and then the payment options will come up. You'll register here.
How about that?
You will have to create an account for that. It's not going to be your Active Directory. You'll register there, where it says register here. You'll click create profile for browsing and shopping to finish. If you have any problems, please email the campus store at HCC store at hagerstowncc.edu.
He's got all the answers. That was great.
He does. Say, turn over to RJ. We can go, Kev.
Yeah.
Call it a night.
The second part of the question, can students shop on campus or only online?
Well, if we're open, if the college is open, we love when students can shop in our store because there's all kinds of supplies that you can see before you purchase. Right now, unfortunately, we can only campus do online shopping just for books right now.
A good point for Kevin too. If you are interested in any of those electronics, email the HCC store and they can give you the different specs on the different things that we do offer here.
Perfect.
Right.
Good questions. These are great questions.
Right.
Great questions.
And the third question about the campus store, can students return books that are no longer needed for a class?
Don't know the answer to that. I would probably, I don't know if you guys know.
I don't know if they're talking about book buyback or
The book
what they're doing
buybacks at the end of the semester, and when, their finals week, there's always advertisements posted, hey, you can sell your book back to the bookstore.
If the question out there is, hey, I registered for a class, I bought the book, I have the book, I'm changing my schedule, what do I do with the book at that point? Again, these are all new times for us. This is I think the first semester we're going into where students have had to buy their books online with us and try to pick them up, and this is the first time that we may have to experience, well, if I'm dropping a class, how do I take my book back? Again, we don't know all the answers here, but I would tell you to email the campus store and just explain your situation and see how they would want to handle that. Yes.
Like, we have an Instagram student who wants to know if all summer classes are online. This person said that they enrolled in Bio 204. It says the lecture is online, but the lab is in person.
No, the lab is, again, the lab will also be online as well. I would tell you, if you can go and look at the comment section of the actual course, it usually explains what if there is a specific time that you need to be online learning. Again, it's all online, but if there's a specific time that you need to be online learning, it'll list that in the actual course comments when you go into self-service and/or web advisor. If you have questions about it, then again, certainly email us. We'll be happy to reach out to you and explain your specific class to you.
Another question. Someone wants to know, what is the app called that is used to access student access?
App for student access.
I'm not sure.
If it's self-service, it's Ellucian Go. I mean, that's the app we've been talking about tonight. The Ellucian Go app is on our current students tab. That's the app that you can access all of your student records under student service. It may be student access meant student service.
Yes.
Yeah. Or self-service.
Yep.
Another Instagram question. Student is having trouble accessing the student email. They're just a student for the summer. What do they do?
So if you're having trouble with that, yeah, you could contact IT. Make sure that for your Active Directory username in the email, you're doing your username and then adding that at student.hagerstowncc.edu and then confirming the password. Another way to check to see is try to log into self-service. If you're able to log into that, the password is good and there might be something else. If you're not able to log into self-service or your email, you want to get in contact with IT.
Yes.
Another question. When do I know, or how do I tell that I can start the online classes?
Okay, normally with the online classes, you know, if you're slated to start an online class on Tuesday, the 26th of May, a lot of times what will happen right now is students will try to go into D2L and they may not see the course there. Student might be taking college algebra as an example, and they log into D2L and they're like, I don't see my course there. What's going on? A lot of times right now, faculty members are still working on their specific course and haven't posted it to D2L yet. Normally what will happen is when you go into that class, when it begins and you log into your D2L account, you'll see a course, you'll see your course there. Don't be surprised if it's not there. Some courses, as RJ mentioned earlier, may have a different learning platform. I know in the past not all courses were on D2L. But if you happen to be in a course that starts on Tuesday and you go into D2L and you don't see the course listed in there, certainly reach out to our Learning Technologies Department, LT. They're wonderful to work with. They can certainly help you navigate any problems that you might have if you're not seeing that on D2L.
And you can reach them at 240-500-2701.
And just to be clear, the D2L is what has replaced Moodle, which we used to have, and we quite a bit get families that had a son or daughter come through, and now someone else, and they might be looking for Moodle. That's what's replaced Moodle with our D2L, and that's where if you're doing an online class, if that's the format we're using, you'll log into D2L, you'll see syllabus, quizzes, tests, all those types of things. Exactly.
Go ahead.
And for people that aren't familiar with Moodle, if you're familiar with Blackboard,
Yes.
D2L is essentially that as well. For new students logging into D2L for the first time, if you try to log in and you're unsuccessful, don't panic. You won't be able to log in until your teacher uploads something for you for the first time. If you're a current student, you should be able to log in even if nothing is in there. But a new student, if a teacher hasn't uploaded anything, it's not going to allow you in. Don't freak out. Wait till that first day, and you should be getting instructions for that. If you're still not able to get in on that first day, that's when you want to reach out to LT or IT or advising and let us know your problem.
Well, I tell you, education's changed a lot since we were in school.
Yeah. Well, not RJ.
No, he's young.
Well, I saw Blackboard, Moodle,
Yes, he
D2L,
was-
so
I saw a blackboard that had chalk on it. Yeah.
Chalk.
I think I had to wash it after class. You know,
With a sponge, yeah.
That's how it went for me.
Hey, I wonder, one of the things we kind of we said and we touched on a little bit that I definitely want to make sure we at least get this out there tonight as well, is our emergency alert system. You know, we want to encourage you, if you go under that current students tab and you look at emergency alert, it's in my opinion, it's the best way that we communicate with students when all the students need to know something in an emergency type situation. I know, you know, a lot of times it's potentially used when we have, you know, snow days, snow delays.
Luckily for us, that's what we've had to use it
Yes,
for.
lucky, you're right. Yes. That's what it's been used for a lot. And with the emergency alert, not only can students have it, but family members can have it.
And that's what
So
we have to hit on as well.
if there is ever, emergency, and again, we've been very blessed that our emergency alert's been used mostly for snow and weather delays. But definitely get signed up for that. That's one of the best things you can do. So we want to tell you, go in there and do that right now if you haven't done that yet.
Yes, definitely sign up for that.
Kevin, we have a question about the grad gift. When will students be notified whether or not they qualify for the 2 free summer classes?
So you should be checking your college email. Those who are qualified have already received an email from HCC. If you haven't received an email about being in the program, you're still missing something. And we sent out emails yesterday to college accounts on what was missing. Today was the deadline to get anything in that was an outstanding that was missing. So as we said before, you got to check that email. Communication is there through email. If you still have a question, send an email to admissions@hagerstowncc.edu. We're taking the first 100. We're really close to that number. So we've had a great response. We've enjoyed working with students, and any student who is not awarded grad gift money, we still want you to take classes with us. It's a great opportunity to get some summer classes in. It's a low tuition cost. Those of you who are graduating seniors, you still can qualify for our Essence program discount of 25% tuition discount if you haven't already taken 4 classes with us. So there still is an opportunity for that. Reach out to us. We definitely want you to be in for the summer semester.
And to actually hit back on that emergency alert system, you will not use your Active Directory to sign up for that. You're going to create your own account, and that's why not only you as a student can create it, but so can your parents or any kind of family member.
Yep.
I think we've covered everything.
We covered an awful lot tonight. I know that. It's nice to have you here, RJ.
Thank you for
RJ, this has
having
been
me.
fun. It's been great having you
It has.
here, and usually just with Mike, it's not as much fun just sitting over there looking.
Yeah, I have a blast with you too.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a big
next
party
week.
next week. Mardi Gras is coming.
Mardi Gras will
Yes,
be here. That's
Mardi
great.
Gras will be our guest next week. We're going to talk about success in the classroom once the classes have started and all the resources. RJ, you hit on it earlier. We got tons of resources. And Kev, you mentioned with our online classes how well we do with our online learning here. We're going to talk about things students can do next week to be successful. And I know we're going to get into topics, a new term, Zoom Room. Have you ever heard of a Zoom Room?
It sounds like
I'm pretty sure we'll probably hit on Zoom Rooms and how tutoring works. You wonder how tutoring works in an online environment? We're going to learn that next week. We got plenty of help for people to be successful. Once classes start next week, we're going to get into those things.
And one thing about tutoring, people hear tutoring and they think that's going to cost money to get tutoring. Your tutoring here at HCC is part of your tuition that you're paying. So it is completely free for you to use our tutors here.
I think we have one more question to come in.
Yeah, Kevin, we have another question about grad gifts. What is the email address that folks can address their grad gift question
Sure.
to?
Send it to admissions@hagerstowncc.edu. It's on the Grad Gift website. It was on the Grad Gift application as well. So send it to admissions@hagerstowncc.edu. And students should be checking their college email. Everything we've been sending out has been to their college email account.
Definitely reach out. Reach out for help if you can't get logged into your HCC or you're having problems. We know it's frustrating. We get frustrated when I can't log into something or my password has to be changed. Not only do student passwords change, our passwords
Yes,
change.
they do.
And it's frustrating when you can't get in. One of our advisors today had a password change, and we were talking about that. So it happens. We're here to work with you. We want to make sure we work with you as quick as we can.
It's all
to get
security. It
into your
happens with our
It's all-
banks.
it's
It happens
completely.
with our paying
It's
our
all
bills.
it's all to protect
Yeah.
and to have our accounts secure in this technological world we live in. A couple shout outs.
Okay.
Shout out to Dr. Olgelati for
Yes.
asking the questions again.
Yes.
Kind of made this a habit each time. Beth Kirkpatrick and her public information staff, Sarah Moore and Brittany Himber are here to help us out tonight. Certainly Peggy Hudson
Peggy
from
Hudson.
Learning Technologies. They've all, we say this every week, but we have the easy job.
We do.
They're working behind the scenes to make this happen. We're
Kendra,
fortunate.
answering our
Kendra
questions.
Perry, yep.
Doing
Kendra
great.
Perry has certainly been a blessing to post websites out there, and any of our staff that's out there. I know that I've went back and looked at some of the comments, and it's nice to have faculty and staff that are also out there answering questions and pushing different things. So we've kind of embraced this HCC Live.
Yeah,
This
tell
is-
your friends to go and watch this if they weren't able to join us, and we've been blessed to have a lot of people watching it. Next week, 5 o'clock, if you want to see the live part on Instagram and Facebook. No TikTok, Mike.
We said we were going to do a
No
TikTok this week.
TikTok.
I was
No
waiting for the
TikTok
dance
this week.
video, but
Brittany
RJ
Hoover wants
can
to
dance.
do
We'll
TikTok,
let
I
RJ
think,
do
so. All right, so that's everything for tonight. Thank
Yep.
you, RJ,
Thank
Mike.
you.
Good
Yep.
seeing you all, and we'll see you all soon. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.